Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another video. But by Stain Masters, shout out to him. I don't know what this video is about, so yeah, these guys are running the NBA. I had Jalen Green and LaMelo. LaMelo was hurt, so I don't see why people are going crazy on Jalen Green because bro taking 20s, getting 20.
This is Jalen Green, and this is Kevin Porter Jr. They are the backcourt of the Houston Rockets, and both of them are highlight hoopers. They combined to average 41 points per game and 9 assists.
Oh wow,
that's a lot
efficiency.
Of offense. Box plus minus is a neat advanced metric that determines how much contribution
it's all about
a player
efficiency now,
made to
because
their
almost
team's
anybody in
offense
the
and
NBA can
defense
score like 20.
per 100 possessions.
That's what I've heard.
Compared to an average player on an average team. Essentially, it's a more in-depth version of the plus minus stat, while also considering things like points, rebounds, and assists. If the number is positive, that means this player has contributed more than the average player. If it's negative, vice versa. BPM as a stat is something people use when they want to make a point.
I want to see what Devin Booker is like.
Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. combined have a BPM rating of negative 2.6.
Damn.
Tyrese Halliburton, starting point guard of the Indiana Pacers, is averaging 20 points and 10 assists. He has a BPM of 7.3.
Damn.
If Tyrese Halliburton halved his offensive output, on paper, he'd still have a better BPM than the Rockets' backcourt.
That's crazy.
The Jazz's rookie center, Walker Kessler, has a higher BPM. This man averages 7 points. But to play devil's advocate, BPM, like every advanced stat, doesn't take into account the bigger picture. Tyrese Halliburton isn't a fair comp because he's 7th in the league in BPM, so he's dwarfing most players.
Really? He's 7th? That's crazy. I'm trying to see what Devin Booker at. But I guess I can't count this year because Bell's been hurt most of this year.
Advanced stats are bogus at times because Nicholas Claxton is having a hell of a season and he's a good player, but he's not better than Jaylen Brown. So let's look at the tape.
Are you seeing the improvement that you thought you would see when the season started?
There's no improvement.
Yeah, they don't look too good.
Yeah, man, bro wanted out of they got out of
the Cavs for a second. I mean, compare this to this.
13 wins, 38 losses, 31, 22. Oh, it's showing them improving. 22, 15, 48. Yeah, they are improving. Damn, 55 losses is crazy. To NBA Houston fans, that's getting worse. Yes, damn.
This is how you rebuild with a young core, not whatever the hell is going on in Houston. Houston is like an AAU team. There's no system, no team basketball, no ball movement, no good shot selection, and people want to use the coach, Scott Silas, as an scapegoat. But it's not his fault. This is exactly what the front office and ownership wanted. Sacrifice the team so that a couple of the young guys can just shoot whatever they want and hopefully develop. That is a horrible strategy for development. Don't get me wrong, bad teams will exist. That's the nature of seeding. Someone's gonna have the worst record. But you got rebuilding teams with a lot of inexperienced guys who are still getting the hang of things. Take the OKC Thunder, for example. That's a team that has a lot of young guys who haven't figured it out and are still learning. That's why they're getting clapped. They're letting the youngins go through the fire on D and let them flourish their offensive capabilities. This Houston Rockets team is not that. It's a free-for-all. There is no growth happening. Sure, some players will see a rise in their statistics individually, but it's at the detriment of the rest of the team and their own learning of NBA basketball. Jalen Green and Kevin Porter may look like their stats are rising, but it's just the stats. These guys are not playing NBA basketball, nor are they even attempting to learn it. Empty stats with no actual contribution to the team. It's selfish, and don't take my word for it. Listen to John Wall, who played in Houston for 2 seasons.
Sick.
Like I always talk to Jalen Green, Kevin Porter. The shit y'all getting away with over here, if you go to any other teams, you be out the league. They wouldn't play. So I'm trying to explain that to them because they think it's sweet.
And that's coming from a 5-time All-Star who's been on a pretty bad rebuilding team himself. So if he has this to say, imagine what the rest of the league is thinking. Trust me, they know. Anthony Edwards will tell you firsthand how that team should be structured.
All praise to number 28. Sengun, he good, man. He good.
I think they need to build around Number 28, Jalen Green and Kevin Porter are franchise players also, but that dude is something serious. We had to game plan for him. Who's number
Alperen
28?
Şengün shows flashes of brilliance. Something about these foreign bigs, they just play the game fluidly and pass like a guard. If the Rockets utilize him more, we'd be able to see what he's truly capable of, but as of now, it feels like he's being held back so KPJ and Green can chuck up contested 3 balls. Şengün is the only positive on this team, currently. I say that because Jalen Green has immense talent, and it's a disservice to how great the guy can be if you don't acknowledge that. He is a natural volume scorer. Players of that nature are gonna have high volatility. He could be the next Bradley Beal or the next Jerry Stackhouse. But if he truly wants to elevate his game,
I don't know who
this
Jerry
kind of
Stackhouse
basketball
is.
at the professional level
I think that was
can't
the
be
point, though.
tolerated. And in his second year, his feel for the game still hasn't taken the next step everyone expected. He still plays like he's in his rookie season or he's still on the G League Ignite. I mean, you watch him play right now, and then you watch him back in high school, you realize the guy just makes more shots now. His feel is still lacking. His half-court game is still rudimentary isolations and nothing beyond that. He cannot play off ball, which is absurd considering he's a long athlete with verticality for days and is a reliable shooter. And like I said, there are teams who've given their keys to their young guys and it's panned out. It's currently happening in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, but they killing it.
Watch cable-free live TV.
Shea going
sports,
crazy.
News,
Shea
shows,
is wild,
and
bro.
more. YouTube.
I like Shea. Shea be doing his thing, bro.
By the looks of it, the Thunder will be heading back to the top of the West in a couple years. After a rebuild that had them set with picks from years none of us will even be alive to see. And that charge is being spearheaded by their franchise guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I've raved about SGA before, and I've been a fan of the Toronto native since he got traded to OKC. This is the kind of improvement a front office wants to see when they hand the keys to their main guy.
I like
You
Shea.
steadily
Shea
see his
be going
numbers
crazy.
climb and his game becomes more all-around. Until you get to the point where you have a juggernaut who's putting up 30 and 5 with 2 steals a game. I believe this is what Houston was aiming for with this current team they got. The problem is, this Rockets team doesn't have the talent or the knowledge that this Thunder team had.
They don't have
Since Daryl Morey's departure
leaders?
from the front office, they've been in shambles. Keeping vets like John Wall to not play him and getting essentially nothing in return for James Harden. And since the departure of Daryl Morey and James Harden, the picks they've made come into question now. I know hindsight is 2020, but was drafting someone like Jalen Green the wisest decision when Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes were available? We see how Dave turned out. Green's scoring ceiling is limitless, but he's not the kind of cerebral guy you can just throw into the fire and expect him to make it out. You need to take the opposite approach with a guy like Jalen Green. Take Jordan Poole for example. The Warriors built him from the ground up. Yes, he came into the league as a shifty score-first guard, but he wouldn't have balanced his game out and impacted the Warriors' championship run if they hadn't taken the slow approach with him. Jalen Green needs to be crafted slowly with veterans who will teach the basics of basketball to a guy who's been playing iso ball since middle school. It's not that Green is a lesser player. No, he's a young guy with great gifts, but the factors around him will prevent him from ever being a high caliber guard. He needs guidance from a veteran. Jalen Green needs someone to take him under their wing and show him how to be a professional or he'll never adapt to this game. If Jalen Green doesn't adapt his game, he won't be able to hold a candle to his peers. Same thing with Kevin Porter Jr. Porter is fun to watch, can't lie to you, but it feels like all he's had in the past 2 years is that one 50-point game and that one game winner he hit versus the Wizards. The difference between him and Green is the second overall pick. Kevin Porter is not, so he's not going to get the leniency that a guy like Jalen Green will get. That's why I think he really does need to change his game, because I don't think the way he's playing right now is going to get him anywhere. And I know the man's story and I am rooting for him, but this is just the way it is. So let's hold out that the Rockets can get it right and start utilizing their young, inexperienced roster. I mean, they have 4 solid pieces to build around, so I wouldn't say their future is bleak, but drastic changes need to be made. But don't worry, Houston, you're not alone, because if you head east, the Hornets are doing the exact same thing. This team is like Showtime for 5 p.m. League Pass games. They suck. There was a
15
feeling
and
this would be
40
the
is
case
fitting.
because of the roster shuffling with LaMelo being injured and Miles Bridges playing basketball in prison, but no one thought they'd be bottom feeding with the Pistons. This team won 43 games last year, but they're a little different compared to Houston because they've already shown that they can win games,
Just
but
in
they're
case.
choosing not to just so they can obviously tank and go for Victor Wembanyama. With Houston, you could put anyone in the AAU system and they're going to get torched regardless. But what Charlotte does have is exactly what Houston has, which is a highlight hooper, specifically LaMelo Ball.
I like
LaMelo
LaMelo.
Ball
LaMelo be
isn't the
going
kind of floor general ESPN or Bleacher Report make him out to be yet. Keyword yet. I fully believe he will reach that status eventually, but right now he makes too many mistakes and his playmaking hasn't reached that advanced passer threshold for him to be considered a floor general. His 8.2 assists per game and 2.7 assist to turnover ratio aren't bad, but he's definitely not Magic Johnson. But this is the issue with social media. You can cherry pick exactly what you need that will fit your narrative.
That's true.
The
There's a lot
media
of highlights.
crowns LaMelo Ball as the next point guard, but not Tyrese Halliburton. And this social media hoopers trend trickles down to every level. Nowadays, they got kids in
I've
the
seen
third
this.
grade with a mixtape. I didn't even know they had third graders ranked, but just look at this. Who wants to see a third grader's mixtape?
Yeah, I
And
don't
this
really
all
care.
ties into a bigger point of how diluted the love of the game has become. I don't want to sound like an old head, but it needs to be said. People don't play basketball for the hell of it anymore. Back in the day, kids used to play ball because it was a fun thing to do with their friends. You used to play, and whoever was the best at it pursued the game at a higher level. I won't accuse anyone in particular because I don't want to question someone's love for the sport that they've worked on all their lives. These guys are professionals for a reason. But as a fan, it's clear that they just don't make them like they used to. Everything feels more glamorized and self-centered, and I think these last couple of years, there's too many guys who all want to be the star. Everyone thinks they're the next Kobe or Steph, and that ideology is apparent when you watch young squads, which brings me full circle back to
I would disagree with that. Because, of course, you got to think you're them. Because why would you go into the league thinking you're a role player? I'm not going to, like, imagine me, right? I make it to the NBA or the NFL, right? I don't want to be a number 3 receiver or number 2 receiver. I want to be the number 1 receiver. I want to be the number 1 running back. I want to be the number 1 point guard. I want to be the nigga dropping 30 a game. I want to be the one helping my team reach the championships, right? I don't want to be the dude that's third, fourth string coming off the bench, 6 man. I don't want to be 6 man. I want to be the start, bro. So I can't really blame them for that because why would you want to think? I'm not going to the NBA to think I'm a role player, bro. If that's how it turns out to be, then cool. But I'm gonna go in there thinking I could do anything I want, and not anything I want, but like become anything I want, right? And become the best. But if I'm going in there thinking, oh, I'm gonna be a role player, and that's my job. That's where I'm gonna stay the whole career. That's ass, bro. Because whenever let's say I do become a role player and then we do win a championship, they're like, oh yeah, that's LeBron's championship, and who else? Who else was on that team? All right, there's Kyrie. Who else? There's LeBron, Kyrie. Who else? I guess JR. There's Kevin Durant, Steph, Clay. Who else? I guess Draymond. There's Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and who else? Like, I don't want to be the who else. I want them to include my name in the top 3. Like, so I can't really blame them for that.
to the Houston Rockets. I'll keep it brief because I've said everything I have to say. This is a very talented squad that could do a lot of great things if they realize the greatness is the collective, not the individual. Put down the phone, stop looking at the camera. These things will blind you. Look at the ground, find the basketball, and get to work. Thanks for
Oh shit. I'm 34 hoops my whole life. Okay. The video hurt. Bro, LaMelo's definition of playing for the love of the game. You can't blame him for how much he has gone wrong with his team the last couple of, especially with the beginning one. That's true. Bro's been hurt too. So, injury cards, bro. You can't control it. But like, subscribe, see you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night. And bye. And let me know your opinion. Like, if you were going to the NBA, would you consider yourself, would you think, oh, I'm going to the NBA to be a role player? No, bro. Nobody's thinking that. Of course, everybody wants to be top 3, the best ones on their team, bringing their team up to a championship. That's how I see it, and that's how everybody should. Because you got to be ambitious sometimes, bro, or all the times, but realistic sometimes, I guess. But yeah, bye.